We wasted all our good muffin material, so I think we should probably get into this.
No. Come on. I was holding myself back.
Oh.
I thought you were still saying
You have more to talk about.
Yeah, I have more to
Bring it. Bring the muffins.
So... child abuser. And every day.
So is this that we're gonna do a series of like O. Henry kind of stories here? Like,
well, you're spoiling that. Like my thing was a muffin documentary. Come on.
I have very strong opinions about muffin documentaries.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I watched that. This is apropos of nothing. I watched that fire documentary.
Which one?
The one on Netflix. I don't have Hulu. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like
it's
it.
pretty good.
Wait, there's an actual muffin documentary?
No.
It's about Fire Festival.
The Fire Festival
muffins.
thing, yeah.
So you watched the Fire
You liked it?
Festival?
I did.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I went to find a review of the other one, and I found a review of both of them.
Yeah.
And they were saying the Hulu one is inferior.
Really?
Yeah, or that's what they said. Because it tries to make a macro thing out of it, like there's a message, whereas the whereas the Netflix one is just here is the inside story of how sausage made.
Fun fact: one of the cool reasons that it is so specific is also a bit skeevy.
Yeah,
a lot of
I heard
the
about this.
producers of it were actually people.
Yeah,
so like where they're talking to them, they're talking heads. They are producing this documentary.
Yeah, Jerry
without ever saying they're doing it.
Jerry,
it's like 6 of them.
Yeah, Jerry Media or something like that. Yeah, and whereas in the Hulu one, they paid the asshole.
Yes. So like, both of them have.
They're complicated.
Extreme way.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're both entertaining as hell.
Welcome to the Fire Festival Fancast.
Yeah.
Fire.
Fire.
I was trying to think
I'll
of a
take
name.
you to burn.
Ooh, there it is.
See, now I'm thinking of the
No, it's called Feel the Burn. Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's called Feel the Burn.
Feel the Burn.
But with BYR.
Yeah.
See, welcome to the breakup.
See, I was just trying to think of the Crazy World of Arthur Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the musician band I like.
So, yeah, this is the podcast where we destroy the things we love by giving them away. Today, we are joined by mega fan Nicholas Stinchcombe.
Hi.
The audience. Warm golf clap from the audience.
Yay.
I'm Sam Young, and
I'm Jacob Waska.
Yes.
I'm mega fan Nick Stinchcombe.
Yes, and we begin today the gauntlet of guests, which is, I'm not really sure how long that's going to go because I really
It goes
thought this
as long. Maybe this is the new show.
Maybe it never stops.
Yeah, maybe this is just.
I was told by actual podcast celebrity Travis McElroy that you should have audience participation. So this is about as close as we can get.
Yeah, right.
So do we? I feel like we should do Kino first because that's fresh in my mind.
should.
Yeah,
We did just watch it.
Yeah, we just watched it. We'll do the other thing after.
Whatever the hell it is.
So Nick, what did you make us watch this today?
Oh, you're making me tell?
Yeah.
I thought you usually did it the other way around.
Is it the other way around? You know, I never remember. This is a part of the show.
I can tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
did you make us watch?
So I made you watch 2004. I think it was 2004. Anime extravaganza of Good Times, Kino's Journey.
Good Times.
Which is about a person and her talking motorcycle traveling across what are loosely called countries and having fun in a beautiful, washed escape of
I'm going to sort of
good times.
buck tradition for a minute because I immediately have a question for you.
What's up?
So when we started watching this, you mentioned that in this setting there are like cars and like her motorcycle talks, and like that there are other vehicles that do talk.
Theoretically.
So we didn't watch the entire series. We watched like a couple.
We watched 5 episodes.
5 episodes.
4 episodes.
Okay.
I wanted to watch 5.
Okay.
God, it was a trip. But in none of those episodes,
did you see the other ones?
No. Maybe there are other ones. No one else talks to the bike.
Yeah.
I think that's fun.
No, they totally do.
No, but they're looking at Kino. Like they say, and Kino says, "This is my bike, Hermes." And
Hi,
Hermes
Hermes.
goes, hello, and they go, "Oh, hello."
I thought in the first one the bad guys talk to the bike, don't they?
No.
Oh, is it just okay? I mean, I kind of assumed that was the gimmick.
They do.
Okay.
But it's there's never a conversation between.
No, they do. They have the conversation where they're like, they say the thing because the bike asks what's going to happen to it. Remember?
Oh,
but.
See, I wanted them to just be crazy.
There's that line. There's that line that happens like later on where they're like, I can't remember what it is. Kino says like, "Oh, we're all alone" or something. No, Hermes says we're all alone. It's the first time they actually talk together, and a lot of people think that Kino's crazy.
Yeah,
that could be. That could be
because she seems confused when she finds out the bike talks.
Yeah.
So that's actually a pretty good explanation of what the show is, even though that. Every word of it was technically a lie.
So we watched 4 episodes.
We did watch 4 episodes.
Instead of the whole thing, which is 13 episodes.
Maybe there's an episode that I didn't see where a pickup truck and a bike talk.
There's a robot episode, though. 2, actually.
God, what the fuck didn't we watch the robot episode?
Well, that'll become clear when we talk about it.
All right, so, Nick, why do you like this piece of shit?
How dare you? I love Kino's Journey. I started watching
how this works.
When I was, like, in my early 20s. And up until that point, I had basically watched maybe Cowboy Bebop and Evangelion for like good ones, and then DBZ. I probably watched some Naruto by that point.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was mostly that stuff. And then I was watching a lot of like YouTube reviewers, and they were all saying, "Oh, here's a list of great animes." And then I looked at those lists and looked up a bunch of them, and I bought a ton, and this was one of them. I like it a lot. Because it makes me feel real bad. I also like it because if you're dumb, it can kind of teach you about philosophy if you don't know what philosophy is.
So if you're a teenager.
It's kind of the perfect anime for teenagers to like bridge the gap.
No, it totally is.
Yeah, to bridge the gap between like garbage anime and having a soul.
No, I could totally see smug teenagers watching Kino's Journey.
And I think they do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they totally deserve to get just crushed by the mountain.
Wow.
Don't give it away.
But there's some cool stuff in there too, though. There's a lot of most of my favorite anime kind of like tear down the culture that they're talking about a lot, and this one does that. It's not subtle at all, but like it's like, hey, look at this thing that we do as a culture, and then they amp it up to 5,000 and show you how it destroys lives,
literally
and souls. And then Kino walks by and she's like, oh, that was sad.
I've learned something today.
Yeah, except it doesn't.
There seems to be like a recurrent theme in anime, which is dunking on Japan.
Yes, Japan loves to dunk on Japan.
Loves to dunk on Japan
like a lot.
So I'll go first on what my opinion of this was.
Yeah.
This is the only good guests one we've had.
Oh.
We've had we had stupid what is it called? What do we always call it with the Christmas watch?
Oh, Cinematic Masterpiece Go-Go 13.
Yes, Cinematic Masterpiece Go-Go 13. Yes, which is its own. It has another level. Then we watched Earth Girls Are Easy, which is awful. Sorry, Faye. I loved this.
Yeah.
Like, this is the only thing on the breakup that's made me close to actually crying because of a reason that we'll get into later. No, I adored this from the beginning. I love that first episode. It's so mysterious, and the quality of the art, and the character, and the voice acting is very good.
Surprisingly good. Oh yeah, so clarifying, we watched the dub.
Yeah.
Because I really like the dub for this one.
Yeah,
the sub is really good, but the dub is
We're not purists.
Yeah. The voice actor for Kino is really good.
I forget what her name is. She does some of my favorite voices.
Yeah, she sounds really familiar.
Yeah, she's really good.
No, I liked it a lot, and it made me feel things. You motherfucker! I just adored it, and I probably will end up watching the other episodes of it. So there's a win. So let's see. We gotta go to the panel.
Tell me how shit it is. Come on.
This is going to be one of those really good episodes where Sam likes things.
Here we go. Yeah.
It's too heavy.
Yeah.
It's too. We were talking about this immediately after the credits stopped rolling, so to speak, and I compared it to Attack on Titan. Wait, hear me out.
All right, put your pitchforks down, you animals.
The worst. Oh, okay.
Because Attack on Titan is horrible.
Yeah.
It's a complete piece
and that's why you're comparing them, right? Yeah.
But it is trying very ham-fistedly to be like, see Japan?
Yeah.
Look how weird we are. This is bad. Whereas Kino's Journey does that well. And actually good.
Yes.
Mild
victory.
At a certain point, and this will be mild spoilers, I think, I have to turn to Nick while we're sitting on the couch and go, And that's where I invented the apartheid.
I missed that.
And that stopped all pain in the world. What about the people who are like genocidally murdered in these ritualized games? They don't count. They're not people.
It's funny. I'll push back on that a tad. I like that there's kind of a heightened reality to it. It's not realistic in the least.
Well, yeah, this is that thing to taste where we've concluded that I don't like preaching things,
and it definitely preaching. I just don't know what it's preaching about.
Or nihilism. It's preaching nihilism.
It kind of is.
It's funny. I had that thought in the first episode, which is probably in some ways the most artsy of the.
Yeah, that's why I showed it first.
So she's out in the snow and she finds these guys who are about to freeze to death. She kills a rabbit for them so that she can feed them. And she talks about, was it worth it to kill, to end one life to help others? And I thought, she's a real nihilist, isn't she? Or there's a real like nihilist, not in the sense that I want to destroy the world and I'm an edgelord, but more like but actually. Kino is a utilitarian. Yeah. And a really hardcore utilitarian.
Yeah, she's very extreme.
In the worst kind of way, in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
Because that she... So I think Nick mentioned that she goes to all these strange, wacky, like, planets of the hats.
Yeah.
And she just kind of stands by and lets things happen. And they're often horrifying, at least from the 4 episodes we saw.
Yeah. We were talking, and one of the most impactful things about it is that it'll be kind of benign with like a creeping sense of dread. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, something like punches you in the face. And you're like, oh, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And then it stops, and then it's gone.
Well, I compared it to a Coen Brothers movie where everything is very like... It's going along and there's sort of a tone to it and like, but all of a sudden horrific violence, really explicit, bloody violence.
And so to briefly clarify my earlier point,
defend yourself.
It's not that I don't like hate this or even dislike it. It's that I don't think I was enraptured the same way.
That's fair.
So both of your reactions, I think, not that I did, definitely, but not that I necessarily did this wrong, but both of your reactions are partially due to the 4 episodes that I picked. I picked my 4 favorite episodes. For anyone who's watched this,
which are the saddest.
Yeah, so it's the second episode where they're in the snow. It's The Land of Adults, which is the one where you find out about Kino's past, and then it's the last 2 episodes. So A Peaceful Land, which is about war, and A Kind Land, which is about a nice place.
Can we talk about how Jacob called this?
Oh, that was so funny. So before we even started, I named the episodes we were going to watch, and then I was like, and we'll watch the last 2 episodes, which are called A Peaceful Land and A Kind Land. And Jacob was like, what did you say?
Oh, so this is going to be horror, absolute horror, nightmare.
Yeah. This can't possibly be accurate.
Yeah. And the episodes do kind of follow that trend. You go to a place that seems a certain way, and either it is revealed that it is not that way, or it's revealed that it is that exactly amped up 5,000 times, but in a horror show twisted way.
Like the Land of Adults, like that.
Oh my god.
Everyone's an adult.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very true.
Except when you weren't.
That's... Before you're 12?
Or you're there, Trev.
Oh, yeah, Trev.
Mm-hmm. My favorite episode was the first one you showed us, which is the second episode overall, where, and I don't want to go too much into plot summaries here, but I really liked it because I like winter aesthetics, and maybe if you hadn't shown me anything, if you'd shown me something else, I wouldn't have liked it as much, but I love a good winter aesthetic.
Me too.
And I just thought the art's so lovely, and it really makes me think of a lot of French painting, for lack of another word.
I get you.
Yeah, I really love the aesthetic, and I love
that gorgeous snowscape. It's so blanked out, but then there's a little bit of other stuff going on.
Yeah, well, I know the whole series too, but that in particular. And what was interesting is it really falls back in a lot of the art style of a lot of like, you know, when you were like a kid in the 90s and you watched like dubbed anime you get from like Rogers, like it made me think of that in this. So there's this weird shot of nostalgia for things like Sherlock Hound, and
it's
a few things like that.
It's that mostly static painted background look, and then the characters, when they're animated well, but it's very chopped on purpose for movement, and it does look like that old style.
From the people that brought you Ghost Stories, Fine Art Critique with Sam and Nick,
and the
for Ghost Stories,
and so. I like the first episode the best, and I like the last episode was sort of close on that. I didn't quite like the other 2 as much, but even though I liked them. But I would tell you, the last episode, so in the last episode, this person, Kino, goes to this town where...
A kind land.
Everything is so happy and peaceful, and she meets this wonderfully animated like little girl who reminds her of herself because
literally
time is a flat circle, like, and it just makes you fall in love with all these people and this town. And then they get blown. I know it sounds funny, but they get blown up by a volcano.
Well, there's one problem with your retelling in that every about like 3 minutes in the episode.
Oh yeah, ominous.
Okay. So to clarify, in Kino's journey, in every single episode, there will be these gorgeous like freeze frames where it'll change perspective a little bit, and maybe the lens color will change or something, and it'll play this bell sound, and it's kind of, I call it the ominous bell sound. And it's usually when they've just shown you something, and if you think about it, or later on in the episode, it's fucked up, and they're like, ooh, and so they keep doing it in this episode,
and you're keeping like, what's it gonna be? Because for most of the series, it's just like these people. Usually, the people she meets are awful. Or they're gonna do something mean.
They
or whatever.
Always seem nice at the start, or at least moderate.
And so you think in this, it plays it well, and that you think, okay, when are they gonna turn on her? And then it's like, no. She just leaves, and it's fine, and you're like, what the fuck is going to happen? And then the aforementioned volcano blows up, which they knew about, and they decided to stay. And I
kill ourselves.
And I compared it to
children and not
and that they basically their sin is pride, and they want to be remembered because they have this bad reputation, and so they invite Kino in to stay and to like show them what they're really like because they have this reputation that they're horrible to travelers. And it's like I was talking about the TNG episode. Inner Light. It's just like that, where they're like, we're going to really psychologically wound you so that you will remember us forever and share our story. And there's this fucking moment which fucked me up, where the little girl handed her a little piece of paper, and she realizes what happened, and she gets a letter from the mother that said, "Oh, we're going to die."
But the mother says we were going to die, and we didn't tell the children. And Kino opens up. It's this little bag of seeds that Kino got at a wedding that she gave to the little girl, and she reads this letter, and she says, "There's no reason," and her voice kind of breaks, and that just fucked me up. That line reading was so well done. I get teary thinking about it now. You find out obviously the little girl knows. And she decided to stay with her family. There's even a part earlier in the episode where they're basically like,
"Oh, do you want to travel?"
Yeah, the parents are clearly trying.
They're trying to get her to go.
They're trying to get her to leave. And
of course, Oh man, but it fucked me in a really good way. I really liked that. I don't know. I've heard there's a line, and I don't know where it is in the show or in the light novels, that the line is something like, "The world is not beautiful, therefore it is."
It's in the first episode. So I really wanted to show it to you because there's so many, like, it literally,
the iconic things.
It ties back to this final episode, but it's not that good of an episode.
But I was like, oh yeah, there it is. That's the thesis of the show. So I really liked it. But Jacob, I can understand why that wouldn't be as much.
I'm glad you okayed it though.
Well, like I give it like in the B range. Like good. It just didn't wow me.
That's
I worked really hard on picking this. So I don't know if we've ever talked if you've ever talked about this before. The reason this was so hard is because, well, Sam and I used to live together. Mm-hmm. Jacob and I have been hanging out for forever, and actually lived in my house for at least like a month or something like that. I've shown them everything I like because I like media and I like showing it to people, and I was shocked to find out I hadn't shown them this yet.
Nick's talent, if you live with Nick, he will just be like, "Hey, come watch this," and for some reason he's the devil, so you won't say no. And this is why we watch Tommyknockers, and we're still going to get you back for that.
No, you won't.
I know, and because it's my fault. But Nick has a way of.
At a certain point, I think there's one big lesson to take away from Kino's journey, which is personal responsibility has to come in. And I mean, Nick showed you Tommyknockers. Probably not in one sitting.
No, that's where you're wrong, my friend.
It was one sitting.
That's why you were forced to do it in one sitting.
Sam was just passing the pain on to you.
Yeah.
I see. Well,
there's nothing you could say to that.
I don't.
So oh God.
We were in pain, if that makes you feel.
Now
we hated it.
Now he cries.
We hated watching Tommyknockers in one sitting.
I just hate you.
I know.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't hate you for Tommyknockers. I hate you for Birdemic.
Oh, yeah.
That is, and it's weird because that is the one movie that actually, for real, gives me a headache.
Oh, it's
I hate it so much that physically hurts.
It's one of the worst.
Yeah.
There's okay, now we're just off topic, but there's a few good bad movies where I genuine
features.
It's fine. This is it's a hangout. We're hanging out.
Yeah.
But there's the one bad movie I really truly detest, and I've watched it a couple times, but I really hate it, is the incredibly mixed up creatures who became what's the hell's the title? Who were teenagers and then became mixed up zombies or something. You know, it's a Mystery Science Theater episode. And it's not a particularly good episode of MST3K because they keep making these really transphobic jokes.
Yeah.
But B, the movie is wretched. It's truly, truly wretched. And I remember the first time I ever saw it, I just was like, I wanted to claw my eyes out. Anyway, that's nothing. That's
you can always just turn it off.
As is evidenced by this podcast, that is not the answer. That is never the answer.
Oh, yeah.
We are the puppets of fate, my friend.
Is that the journey we're going on, you and me,
yes.
Sam? We're just
the bell sound just comes in.
Oh god!
It's probably somewhere. You can just put that in.
Yeah.
Kino's Inception. So why don't we? I think that's a pretty good, thorough discussion of Kino. So why don't we move on?
It's Journey.
It is
to what we made Nick do.
Yeah.
You're right. It is what did we make you do?
So.
Yeah, you're right. It's because it's the reverse.
I can do it. You can do it if you want.
Yeah, that's why you're the mega fan. It's okay. We'll just say since we fucked it up.
No, you tell us.
Okay.
Because you're the guest.
So
that makes sense.
This is kind of a layered thing. So there's a few things going on here. So technically, what these two made me watch was Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Mm-hmm. But that's not exactly right. But regardless, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is a shitty sequel to Paul Blart Mall Cop, which is a terrible movie. Mm. It's a little bit funny. The opening's pretty clever. He goes to Vegas. There's a bunch of dumb jokes about him being fat. He fights a bird. Something to do with his daughter.
We'll get to the bird.
Yeah. But that wasn't it. What they had me watch is what seems to be colloquially referred to as Death Blart.
No. This Death Blart is a whole other film.
Oh, okay.
This was Blart Side of the Moon.
Blart Side of the Moon, right. Blart Side of the Moon, which is Paul Blart Mall Cop synced up to Dark Side of the Moon. It loops twice plus a tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
Yeah. And it loops up pretty well, except that's not exactly what they had me watch. I don't know if it was planned or if it was a mistake or if it just turned out that way, but what they actually had me watch was Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 with no sound and no subtitles synced up to Dark Side of the Moon.
That was very intentional. So, even though that's not how we watched it the first time.
So where Paul Blart Mall Cop with Dark Side of the Moon is this hilarious link up of stuff, and you see the jokes and you're like, this movie's terrible, but this is really funny. What I watched was this horrible existential nightmare scape of this sad man just being obliterated over and over and destroying his own life to the most appropriate songs ever.
This sad prog rock.
And so in the version I watched when he fights the bird, it's actually really sad.
It's something else. To give a little context to this, viewers of our show probably are aware of Till Death Do Us Blart, which is the McElroy brothers and the guy who do Worst Idea of All Time. They are going to watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 for the rest of their lives on American Thanksgiving. One year, one of the McElroys, Griffin, watched it sunk up with Dark Side of the Moon. Oh. And so Jacob and I, in celebration of this, destroyed ourselves, and then decided to share this with Nick. And it was because, like how Nick didn't know what to play us because he had shown us everything, we had nothing. This was the only thing we could think of. And we knew he would appreciate our existential nightmare.
It's true.
Take us on a journey.
So, well, I can tell you that when it started, I was actually surprised that the movie was pretty okay, kind of funny. Mm-hmm, yeah. It opens and he gets divorced, and then his mom gets hit by a bus. Yeah. What's the song that's playing? Because it's incredible.
Oh, it's Speak to Me, Breathe.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Literally something cues exactly when the mom gets hit by the bus.
Literally, she gets hit by an ice cream truck, and as she's hit,
breathe in the air. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So good. But yeah, it's just Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. And I haven't even seen Paul Blart Mall Cop.
No.
But clearly he's just some idiot security guard that for some reason like succeeds, I guess. And there's a running gag where like women find him attractive. And
the less you know, the better.
Well, actually, but that's why his wife divorces from him.
Yeah.
It's because, and since we were playing this without,
audio
voices.
Yeah. So I don't actually know the plot, really.
Literally, she divorces him because, as her doctor described it, he was causing uncontrollable vomiting.
Right. Because he's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, he's wretched.
So,
it's a horrible thing.
I think the crazy thing about this is I probably hate Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I watch trash. Like, I really watch lots of trash movies. I really don't like movies that tend to come out of that Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah. No. The Happy Gilmore crowd.
They tend to be very, very terrible. Kevin James can be funny.
He can, yeah.
But he's been funny once at least, but not in this. But somehow syncing this up
it elevates
to Dark Side of the Moon makes it some sort of like weird art piece, and not always. Like there are times when you're watching it and it's pretty bad, like where the music doesn't really work, or it's just like a dull scene where people are walking or something.
It's not the most visually dynamic scene.
Exactly, but that's not the fart. That's not the fault.
The fart side of the moon.
That's not the fault of Dark Side of the Moon. That's the fault of
Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
So. I guess if you like Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, you'll probably hate this.
Yeah.
But if you hate Kevin James and like all these Adam Sandler movies, I think you'll probably love it. I got out of it thinking that I wasn't sure. I was like, I enjoyed my time, but like, I don't really know. Like, it was a bit boring once in a while. Yeah. But I actually have watched it 3 more times now.
You sync it up?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The last time was about 4 days ago or 5 days ago or something like that.
Did you subject your wife to this?
No, it's always when she's at work.
That's good. I'm glad we didn't do that to her.
And I did watch it once with the sound on.
Okay, yeah.
And once without the sound on with subs on because I wanted to see what it would be like. It's so much better with nothing.
Yeah.
With no context.
Part of the reason...
It's a weird music video.
Yeah. An almost hour and a half.
Well, we'll talk about the sync points, which this has been discussed on Till Death Do Us Part, but I think
there's a video on
YouTube. You can look this up, actually. Part of the reason that we didn't have subtitles is I forgot how we watched it, Jacob and I, because we did watch it with subtitles, and maybe the audio was kind of low, and I just set it up before you came in because we were going to surprise you, and then I realized, oh, you watched this with the subtitles last time, and I was like, go with it. And it worked.
It worked so
because
well.
We just created a narrative
there
about
were definitely a couple of times early on where I turned to one of you and asked you like what was going on, but I stopped doing that really quickly because I realized it doesn't matter because it has nothing to do with that.
No.
So there's a part where he fights a bird.
Oh yeah.
And this dude in the movie playing the piano.
Yeah. So there's on a much more successful podcast.
Yes.
There is a.
Well, I don't want to go too much into their stuff because I feel like that's
later.
We'll talk about it off camera.
I feel you have a question for us.
Do I?
Yeah.
Well, why do you like this garbage? Like this absolute garbage. Well, I don't even know if you like my version that you made me watch because apparently you hadn't watched it like that.
I think all things being equal and as like to be true to thine own self, I have to admit I like it. I like the sync up.
Yeah.
I think I have and maybe it's just because I'm a stupid I'm a McElroy Brothers super fan and a Worst Idea super fan because I had to do this and I made Jacob do it with me. So I unironically like this. I don't know how you feel, J-Cube.
I'm not a religious man. But there's a certain connection you experience with something beyond what I would consider you can have with scientific processes. Mm-hmm. Something that you might describe as spiritual.
Something metaphysical.
When you see Kevin James lying on the floor of a hotel waiting for strawberry ice cream to drip into his mouth.
While Pink Floyd's On the Run plays.
Well, On the Run is playing because of his glaucoma.
Yeah.
And he had
No, not glaucoma. Hypoglycemic.
Yeah.
Hypoglycemic. Glaucoma's with eyes.
It could have been that, though.
It could have been.
Yeah, maybe
doesn't fucking matter.
And you realize that you are watching not a person. There's no there's no one that you would call a human involved in anything to do with this. But that this weird Promethean being is going through an entire self-exploration of the struggle of mortality and humanness to be, so to speak. And I think that
it's human realness.
He does ultimately become superhuman by the end of it, really.
Well, the true essence of Blart is he begins to, over the course of the movie, one of the, she's like, not a
concierge.
Yeah, she's a concierge. And she falls in love with him because he's very confident, despite being absolute garbage at everything and being a garbage man.
At the expense of the actually attractive and competent, non-garbage other concierge.
Yeah. And so she nearly confesses to him at the end of the movie, to which he says, no, this happened last time. And
we're just going through a thing here.
Yeah, you're going through a thing because I seem pitiable.
Okay, but the crazy thing about that is I don't think that's why he does it. Because, again, I don't have the dialogue or anything. But
neither do we, really.
Where the other concierge is, like, sitting back there crying, and Paul's talked to him before that. I think he feels bad for the dude, and he's lying. I think he does think he can get with this lady, and that it'll work, and he's just being nice to the other guy.
I think that it's open to interpret, like any good religious script.
Yeah, that's true. We're the two sects here.
No, not.
You guys are like the Sunnis and the Shias. It's like looking at...
We don't divide.
Yeah.
We discuss.
Yeah, and then we'll come together in the end.
Like the part of the development of true spiritual knowledge is discussion and then cohesion, like a classical debate. And that's truly what Death Blart is, my new religious holiday, which is what you were getting confused at.
Thesis, antithesis.
Yes.
Synthesis. Whoa, Jesus.
I'm gonna bleep him. I'm gonna bleep him.
Gave me a heart attack.
Ruin my jokes. He was waiting for a moment there. I think.
Wow.
Lost my train of thought. I was gonna
and that's my cult.
The best part of this is like in Dark Side of the Rainbow. There's one. Yeah, there's one great scene in that too. I mean, there's lots of bits, but the one great scene in that one is the Great Gig in the Sky when the hurricane comes or the tornado, and in this it's brain damage while Paul Blart is assaulted by a bird while a strange man plays piano.
Oh, and the man's smiling the whole time.
Like, I am a skeptical man. I know how, this effect, I can't remember what it's called, but there's an effect that takes place in your brain where you sync it up together.
Oh, yeah, you think that it's better than it is.
But I know someone did this to this song. You cannot convince me otherwise. This was edited to be together.
Blart's Trials.
That part is incredible. I think the part, other than the opening where the mom gets hit by the ice cream truck, the part that really sold it for me, I don't even remember the context for it or anything, but I know there's this part where he's coming up an escalator and then the music just crescendos and hits right at the top of the escalator.
Is it Time starts playing?
I think so. I don't even remember. I just know that when that happened, I was like, my life's been changed. I will join Jacob's cult. And rest it out from under him.
Because the line is like wasting away the moments that take up the dull days. Yeah, or something like that.
Oh my God. There's also, they do that really good bit where they're looking at all the stuff, the security stuff. What is it?
Money. It's what Death Blart refers to as the Chekhov gun convention. It's money. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And we actually, our sync was ever so slightly off. There's a bit where a guy he shoots some targets.
The security guy, and
in the if you've sunk it up right, the beat of the bass line just hits each one, and we were ever so slightly off. But there's a lot of different sync points I think in this.
Just like a lot of interpretations. Religious
so you guys disagree on who's Pope? Is that how this works?
Yeah, basically. Okay. Well, I don't believe in a Pope. I think
I think the fairer thing to say, and this is going to be very deeply offensive, so you should probably bleep this out.
Yes.
It's like Hinduism and Sikh.
Sikh.
Where I am like, oh no, of course you're part of my thing. Everything's part of my thing, and you're like, no, I'm my own thing. Fuck off. Of course not.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Well, we'll leave these philosophical debates for another time in another podcast. So, Nick, what would you give, if on any grading scale that you so choose to use, what would you give Dark Side of the Blart? Or Blart Side of the Moon?
I would give Blart Side of the Blart Moon surviving hypoglycemia out of surviving hypoglycemia.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's a good score.
Yeah.
That's on the bell curve. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much it then. So next time, Jacob, what are we going to be doing? And who's going to be coming and visiting our offices? Chris, our good friend Chris Ross. We will be watching the first episode of the David Boreanaz vehicle, Bones.
And the last episode of the David Boreanaz vehicle, Bones. And just those.
Yep. And Chris will be watching a movie that Jacob and I watched about a year ago or so, Drive, which we both really liked. And it's a Ryan Gosling. We'll see how this goes. I don't think he's going to like it.
Roman's in it.
We'd like to thank Nick Stinchcombe for being on our show. Oh, shit. Theme. We need our theme.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a new season, but I think we're going to keep with F until we get to the end of this. So we need an F word.
Faith.
Ooh. Oh, shit.
Damn.
I love it when that happens.
Oh.
Damn this Wasco. He is on.
That wasn't even edited. That was just...
No, that was just there. I'm just going to leave that.
I was going to make a joke.
From God's mouth to your ear.
Yeah.
All right.
Blart speaks through me.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'd like to thank Nick Stinchcombe for being on our show. He's wanted to be on for quite a while.
That's true.
Our most supportive fan.
I'm desperately empathetic.
We'd like to thank Irritating Rainbow for the use of our theme song, You Broke It, from the album Where the Truck Go. You can find a link to that in the description. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. How about you tell us about a time that you played a movie or a book for a friend and they really hated it and they've dunked on it? You can put that on our Twitter, which is at The Breakup Cast, which is also what our Facebook group is called.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty much it. Nick, we'll leave you with the final thought.
I got nothing. Sorry.
No, we got time.
You come into our house. You come into my house. This is what you bring.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. Fucking get out. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Okay.
Here's the door.
Bye.
Get out.
Bye.
Fuck you.